In the quiet corners of a small English village near Yorkshire, Emma Baker's world was a delicate balance of struggle and silent hope. At 28, she carried responsibilities that seemed too heavy for her slender shoulders. Her father, George, battled the cruel grip of dementia, transforming their modest cottage into a sanctuary of memories slowly fading away. Emma worked part-time at the local library, her dreams of becoming a writer tucked carefully into the margins of her worn notebook. Each morning began with the same careful routine, preparing medications, preparing breakfast, and helping her father dress. The clock seemed to move differently in their home, sometimes painfully slow, sometimes racing past moments she desperately wanted to preserve. Financial challenges were a constant companion. Bills cascaded like autumn leaves, threatening to bury their modest existence. Emma's savings dwindled with each medical prescription, each special care requirement. Her mother had passed away years ago, leaving her as the sole caretaker, the single thread holding their small family together. The village knew her as the quiet girl who always carried a gentle smile, despite the visible weight of her responsibilities. Neighbors would occasionally bring casseroles, offer a helping hand, but Emma rarely accepted. Her pride and determination burned brightly, even when her spirit felt worn. George had once been a brilliant mathematics teacher, his mind sharp as a razor. Now his memories played hide-and-seek, appearing briefly like gentle ghosts before disappearing into the fog of his condition. Some days he would look at Emma with complete clarity, sharing a moment of connection that brought tears to her eyes. Other days he would stare blankly, not recognizing the daughter who sacrificed everything for him. In the library where she worked, Emma found solace among books. Each volume represented a world of possibilities, an escape from her challenging reality. During quiet moments between organizing shelves and assisting readers, she would scribble fragments of stories in her notebook. Stories about love, resilience, family, narratives that reflected the complex emotions brewing within her heart. Her colleagues respected her silent determination. They understood the challenges she faced, watching her balance work and caregiving with a grace that seemed almost superhuman. Mrs. Thompson, the elderly librarian who had worked there for decades, would sometimes slip her extra hours or cover her shifts, recognizing the unspoken struggle in Emma's eyes. Weekends were the most challenging. With no structured routine, George's condition seemed to amplify. He would become restless, wandering around the cottage, sometimes forgetting where he was. Emma learned to create gentle distractions, old photographs, familiar music, soft conversations that kept him calm. Her writing became her secret therapy. Each word was a thread of hope, each paragraph a testament to her resilience. She wrote about the invisible heroes, caregivers, who gave up personal dreams to support loved ones. Her stories were raw, honest, capturing the complex emotions of loss, love, and unexpected strength. Financial pressures meant Emma had to be creative. She took online writing courses during late nights after her father had fallen asleep. She entered writing competitions, hoping that her small victories might provide some financial relief. Dreams of publishing a book flickered like a distant lighthouse, offering guidance through her stormy journey. The village became her extended family. Mr. Richards, the local baker, would sometimes bring fresh bread. Understanding that home-cooked meals were a luxury Emma could rarely prepare. The community's subtle support was her invisible safety net, catching her during moments when she felt she might collapse under her responsibilities. Emma's smartphone was her connection to the outside world. During quiet moments, she would research dementia, joining online support groups, seeking advice, understanding that she was not alone in her journey. These digital connections became her lifeline, offering emotional support when physical interactions were limited. As winter approached, bringing its cold embrace to the Yorkshire landscape, Emma continued her delicate dance of caregiving and dreaming. Her father's condition was a constant reminder of life's unpredictability, yet her spirit remained unbroken. She would often sit by the window, watching the gentle snowfall, holding her father's hand, whispering stories of hope and resilience. In those moments, the world seemed to pause, acknowledging the quiet heroism of a daughter's love. Little did Emma know that her journey was about to take an unexpected turn, promising changes that would transform her life in ways she could never imagine. The community centre stood like a beacon of hope in the small Yorkshire village, its worn brick walls holding countless stories of connection and healing. Emma discovered this unexpected sanctuary almost by accident, dragged there by Mrs. Thompson from the library, who insisted she needed a break from constant caregiving. On that crisp autumn morning, the centre buzzed with quiet energy. Woodilling. People gathered for knitting circles. Young mothers shared parenting tips and retired professionals found purpose in volunteer work. Emma felt simultaneously out of place and strangely welcomed. Her tired eyes caught the attention of Richard Peterson, a retired schoolteacher with kind eyes and a gentle smile. Richard watched Emma from across the room. He recognized the exhaustion etched into her young face, the kind that comes from carrying the world on one's shoulders. When she accidentally dropped her notebook, he was quick to retrieve it, his weathered hands carefully picking up the scattered pages filled with her handwritten stories. "These are quite beautiful," he said softly, returning the notebook. His words were simple, but they carried unexpected weight. Emma hesitated, unused to compliments. Her usual response was to deflect, to minimize her own struggles. But something in Richard's eyes invited honesty. She found herself sharing fragments of her story, her father's dementia, her dreams of writing, the financial challenges that seemed to suffocate her hopes. Richard listened, not with pity, but with genuine understanding. He proposed a solution. That would change everything. He knew of a local program that provided respite care for families dealing with dementia. By spending a few hours at the centre, Emma could have time to pursue her writing, to breathe, to exist beyond her role as a caregiver. The first time Emma left her father in the centre's care, her hands trembled. She had never before trusted anyone else to care for George. But the staff were patient, experienced, understanding. They treated patients with dignity, with respect that went beyond mere medical care. With newfound freedom, Emma began to write seriously. Richard became her unexpected mentor. He had connections in the local publishing world. Having written several local history books himself, he introduced her to writing groups, helped her polish her manuscripts, believed in her potential when she struggled to believe in herself. The community centre transformed from a building to a lifeline. Emma learned about support groups for caregivers, discovered resources she never knew existed. Other families shared similar stories. The silent struggles of caring for loved ones with progressive conditions. She was not alone. Financial pressures began to ease slightly. The respite care was affordable, supported by local community funds. Emma could now work more hours at the library, save a little money, breathe a little easier. More importantly, she found time to write, to dream, to imagine a future beyond constant caregiving. Her father, George, surprisingly thrived in the centre's environment. The structured activities, the gentle care, the social interactions seemed to slow his cognitive decline. Some days he would share stories from his teaching days, his eyes momentarily bright with remembered passion. Richard became more than a mentor. He became a friend. He would sometimes visit their cottage, bringing homemade soup, sharing stories about his own life. He understood loss, understood struggle, understood the quiet heroism of everyday people fighting invisible battles. Emma's writing began to take shape. Her stories about caregiving, about love, about resilience started attracting attention. Local publications showed interest. The notebook that once held secret scribbles was transforming into something more. A potential book, a voice for those who often remained unheard. The village watched her transformation. The quiet librarian was becoming a writer, an advocate, a beacon of hope for families struggling with similar challenges. Her journey was proof that support could come from unexpected places, that community could be a powerful healing force. As winter approached, bringing its cold breath to the Yorkshire landscape, Emma felt something she had almost forgotten: hope. Not the loud, triumphant hope, but a quiet, persistent hope that whispers of possibility, of potential, of a future, waiting to be written. Her unexpected connection with Richard, with the community centre, was rewriting her story. One page, one moment at a time. The small writing workshop at the community center felt different that evening. Emma's hands trembled as she clutched her manuscript, years of silent stories pressed between worn pages. Richard's encouraging nod from the back of the room gave her the courage to begin reading. Her voice started soft, almost a whisper. She spoke about caregiving, about her father's battle with dementia, about the invisible struggles of families fighting silent wars against progressive illnesses. The room grew so quiet that even breathing seemed loud. Sarah Martin, a local publisher, who often attended these workshops, listened with unexpected intensity. Emma's words weren't just a story, they were a raw, unfiltered glimpse into a world most people avoided discussing. Caregiving wasn't glamorous. It was messy, complicated, filled with moments of profound love and gut-wrenching challenge. As Emma read, something magical happened. Tears formed in listeners' eyes. An elderly woman in the corner nodded repeatedly. A middle-aged man wiped his cheek, remembering his own mother's struggle. Her story transcended personal experience. It became a universal narrative of love, sacrifice, and human resilience. When she finished, silence hung in the room. Then, unexpectedly, applause broke out. Not polite clapping, but genuine, deeply moved appreciation. Sarah Martin approached her immediately, her professional demeanor replaced by genuine emotion. "We need to publish this," Sarah said, her voice crisp and determined. "Your story needs to be heard." The publishing process moved surprisingly quickly. Emma's manuscript, titled Whispers of Memory, became more than a book. It became a lifeline for countless families experiencing similar challenges. Her honest portrayal of caregiving resonated with thousands who felt unseen, unheard. Her father, George, experienced a remarkable moment during the book's first local reading. Sitting in the audience, he suddenly became lucid. As Emma read a particular passage about their shared memories, he squeezed her hand and whispered, "I'm proud of you." Those 4 words meant everything. Local media picked up her story. Interviews followed. Emma, once the quiet librarian, became a voice for caregivers. Support groups invited her to speak. Universities requested her to share her experiences. Her unexpected journey from silent struggle to public advocate was inspiring. Financial pressures began to ease. Book royalties provided a much-needed buffer. More importantly, the book opened doors. Speaking engagements, writing opportunities, consulting roles with healthcare organizations emerged. Emma's life transformed from survival to purpose. The community center that had once been her sanctuary now celebrated her success. Richard watched her transformation with quiet pride, understanding that sometimes breaking silence requires immense courage. He had seen potential in her when she couldn't see it herself. Her writing challenged societal perceptions about caregiving. She exposed the emotional complexity, the daily heroism of family members supporting loved ones through progressive illnesses. Her words gave voice to millions experiencing similar journeys. Local healthcare professionals started recommending her book to families facing dementia. Support groups used chapters as discussion points. Universities included excerpts in healthcare, communication courses. What began as a personal story became a broader conversation about compassion, resilience, and human connection. Emma's relationship with her father entered a new phase. Their connection, always deep, now had layers of mutual understanding. George might forget details, but he understood the love surrounding him. The book became a testament to their journey, a permanent record of their shared experience. The Yorkshire village that had quietly supported her now celebrated her openly. The library where she once worked displayed her book prominently. Local bookstores hosted signing events. She had become a local hero, not through dramatic achievements, but through honest, vulnerable storytelling. Her unexpected success taught her a profound lesson. Silence can be a choice, but sharing can be healing. Every word she wrote became a bridge, connecting experiences, breaking isolation, offering hope. As autumn leaves danced outside the community center where her journey began, Emma realized something powerful. Her story was never just about her and her father. It was about every family fighting invisible battles, about love that transcends memory, about hope that persists even in the most challenging circumstances. Her voice, once a whisper, now rang, clear and strong, a beacon of hope for countless others walking similar paths. The first royalty check arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning, transforming Emma's kitchen table into a landscape of unexpected possibility. £15,000, more money than she had ever imagined holding in her hands. Her father, George, watched from his favorite armchair, his eyes momentarily clear and curious. "We did it, Dad," Emma whispered, her fingers tracing the unexpected. Financial lifeline. The money meant more than just financial relief. It represented hope, possibility, a chance to provide better care for George and potentially pursue her writing dreams more seriously. Letters began arriving from across the country. Families dealing with dementia, caregivers feeling isolated, medical professionals recognizing the raw honesty in her story. Each envelope contained a piece of someone's heart, stories of struggle, of love, of silent heroism that mirrored her own journey. Sarah Martin, her publisher, recognized the book's potential beyond traditional publishing. She arranged speaking, engagements, support group workshops, and conference presentations. Emma, once terrified of public speaking, discovered a powerful voice inside her. The local hospital approached her about developing support resources for families dealing with progressive memory conditions. Her personal experience became a professional opportunity. Training programs, support materials, counseling guidelines. Her story was transforming systemic approaches to caregiving. George's medical care improved dramatically. The royalty money allowed for specialized treatments, better medications, more comprehensive home care support. Professional caregivers who understood dementia's complexities became part of their daily routine. Emma could breathe easier, knowing her father received expert, compassionate care. Richard continued mentoring her, helping navigate this unexpected professional landscape. He helped her organize her experiences, structure potential future writing projects, and understand the broader impact of her work. His wisdom became her compass, guiding her through uncharted territories. Community support grew exponentially. The Yorkshire village that had quietly supported her now celebrated her openly. Local businesses, healthcare centers, and community organizations recognized her as a critical voice in understanding caregiving challenges. Emma started a small support group at the community center, inspired by her own journey. Families dealing with similar challenges found comfort, understanding, and practical resources. What began as a personal story became a collective healing experience. Her writing evolved. Magazine articles, guest columns, research publications. Her perspective became sought after. Medical journals wanted her insights. Healthcare training programs requested her contributions. She was transforming personal pain into professional purpose. Financial stability allowed Emma to reduce her library working hours. She could focus more on writing, speaking, and developing support resources. The constant stress of survival slowly transformed into a sense of meaningful contribution. Unexpected opportunities emerged. A documentary filmmaker expressed interest in adapting her story. Television interviews highlighted the invisible struggles of caregivers. Emma became a voice for those who had long been silenced, misunderstood, overlooked. Her father, despite his condition, remained her greatest supporter. On good days, he would smile, recognizing the impact of her work. On challenging days, his presence reminded her why she started this journey: pure, unconditional love. The royalty check represented more than money. It was validation, proof that personal stories matter, proof that vulnerability can be strength, proof that one person's experience can create widespread understanding and change. Local schools started inviting her to speak about empathy, resilience, and human connection. Young students learned about caregiving, about understanding progressive conditions, about seeing beyond surface-level experiences. Emma's network expanded. Medical professionals, writers, support group coordinators. Her circle of influence grew organically. Each connection represented a potential avenue for creating meaningful change, for supporting families facing similar challenges. As winter settled over Yorkshire, Emma reflected on her unexpected journey. From a struggling librarian to a recognized Voice in healthcare communication, her transformation seemed almost miraculous, yet it was rooted in something simple: honest storytelling, profound love, and unwavering hope. Her father watched her, his eyes sometimes clear, sometimes clouded, but the love between them remained constant, a beacon guiding their shared journey through uncertainty, through challenge, through unexpected grace. The pages of her life continued, turning, each chapter more remarkable than the last. The community center's unused room transformed under Emma's careful touch. Soft yellow walls replaced the old gray paint. Comfortable chairs arranged in careful circles. Warm lighting created an inviting atmosphere. This space would become something more than a room. It would become a sanctuary of hope for caregivers. George's health was declining, but his spirit remained strong. He understood in his moments of clarity that his daughter was creating something beautiful from their shared journey. Some days he would sit quietly in the center, watching Emma organize support group materials, his eyes filled with quiet pride. The first support group meeting surprised everyone. 15 people arrived, some hesitant, some desperate for connection. Emma shared her story not as a lecturer but as a fellow traveler. Her vulnerability created an immediate bond. Strangers became a community, united by their shared experiences of caring for loved ones with progressive conditions. Richard continued supporting her vision. He helped develop workshop materials, connected her with healthcare professionals, and provided emotional guidance. His decades of teaching experience transformed theoretical support into practical help. Together, they created a comprehensive support system that went beyond traditional medical approaches. Local healthcare providers took notice. The support group model Emma developed began to spread. Other community centers requested her guidance. Universities invited her to share her approach to community-based care support. What started as a personal healing journey became a professional breakthrough. Her second book was different from the first. Healing Together combined personal stories, practical guidance, and research about caregiver support. Publishers competed for the manuscript. Emma's reputation as a compassionate, honest voice had grown significantly. Financial stability allowed her to focus entirely on her mission: speaking engagements, book royalties, consulting work. Her income came from helping others. The struggling librarian had become a respected voice in healthcare communication and community support. George's final days were peaceful. Surrounded by love, supported by the community he had taught in for decades, he slipped away quietly. Emma's grief was deep, but not destructive. She understood their journey together had created something meaningful, something that would continue, helping others. The library where she once worked now displayed her books prominently. Local schools invited her to speak about empathy, about caring, about finding strength in vulnerability. Young students learned about the complex, beautiful world of caregiving and human connection. Her support group expanded. Online platforms allowed connections beyond the local community. People from different countries shared their experiences, found comfort in her approach. What began in a small Yorkshire community became a global conversation about compassionate. Caret Awards followed, community leadership recognitions, healthcare innovation prizes. But Emma remained humble. She knew the real reward was in the stories shared, in the connections made, in the lives touched by understanding and support. The community center became her primary workspace. The room she transformed continued healing people, support groups, training sessions, writing workshops. The space breathed with purpose. Richard often visited, watching her work with quiet satisfaction. Emma's writing evolved. Academic publications, healthcare journals, personal essays. Her voice reached multiple platforms. She became a bridge between personal experience and professional understanding. Her work challenged traditional perspectives on caregiving, on family, on love. Memories of her father guided her work. Every workshop, every support group session, every written word carried his gentle spirit. George might be gone, but his impact continued through her mission. The Yorkshire village that had quietly supported her now celebrated her openly. Local businesses, healthcare centers, educational institutions all recognized her significant contribution. She had transformed personal pain into collective healing. As spring arrived, bringing new life to the landscape, Emma reflected on her journey. From a struggling librarian to a recognized voice in community support, her transformation seemed miraculous. Yet it was rooted in something simple: love, honesty, and unwavering hope. Her father's old teaching desk stood in her home office, a reminder of where her journey began. Photographs documented their shared path, moments of struggle, of joy, of profound connection. Each image told a story of resilience. The pages of her life continued turning, each chapter more remarkable than the last. Emma had discovered her true calling, helping others find hope in their darkest moments, proving that love could transform even the most challenging experiences. Her story was far from over. It was, in many ways, just beginning.